My name's Steve Fennick, and I'm a photojournalist. I've been to quite a few countries, got a lot of mileage on me. Traveling along the Mackenzie River is definitely off the beaten path. At the time, I was volunteering out in northern Alberta with the Deh Cho Indians, and I was basically building a rehab center, constructing log cabins. One of the elders convinced me to do a solo canoe trip down the Mackenzie River, and I thought, I want to be out there and having some adventure, and thought of the photographic opportunities, of course. So I bought this canoe and drove from Meander River up to Fort Providence, just north of Great Slave Lake, where the river basically starts. So I dropped the canoe in the water there, and I set off. The closer you get up to the 60th parallel, the more dramatic the weather can change all of a sudden. And I'm thinking, okay, I've got great weather, and all of a sudden a storm would literally burst over the horizon, and then the wind would pick up all of a sudden, and there was no time to set up a tent. So I was like desperate, paddling like a maniac to get to the shore, and I just had enough time to flip over my canoe. I used to tie a rope between two branches and then string the canoe and then go underneath. In my travels, I actually passed a Coast Guard ship, waved to the captain, and about 3 or 4 kilometers after I passed him, it was time to stop. So I shored my canoe. I was on a stretch of beach, and I thought, okay, I'll set up my tent. There's enough driftwood here to build a fire. But the wind picked up so much that the big pieces would burn too quickly, and the smaller pieces, they would blow away altogether. So I went into my tent, and I said, okay, well, just after this night, then, hopefully tomorrow it'll be better. In the middle of the night, the wind got so strong, it blew my tent flat, and the rain came and the cold. By morning, I was in dire straits. I got up and I was soaked. My worst fear, I came down with hypothermia. I was starting to panic. I was like, what do I do? What do I do? I remembered the Coast Guard ship, and I thought, well, I have to take a chance with this. I basically abandoned everything, all my gear, and I skirted the shoreline. A few hours later, I saw the ship. At the gangplank, the captain saw me, and he realized my condition as well. They basically grabbed me, manhandled me into a shower, and just started pouring water over me. They gave me some coffee, I guess as a stimulant to get the heart going. And I explained to them what happened. I said, I don't want to go on. And they radioed in and said, well, we'll take you. We're going to see you safely to Norman Wells. It was the crew of the Temba, and I really thank them, because if that boat wasn't there, I don't think I would be doing this interview right now. And I think the worst part of that was being alone, because you had nobody to complain to when everything was going wrong, because it was just you against nature. Mackenzie River, the Dene called it Deh Cho, which means big river, and I learned exactly why.